Good morning. Today we're going to take a look at the two summaries for the first two chapters in the Mindset book by Carol Dweck. So in chapter one, which is kind of just an opening overview of what the book is all going to be about, kind of introduced the two different mindsets that we discussed, mostly the growth and fixed mindset, and the kind of difference between those two things. One interesting quote that I saw from that book was on page 5. So when she's talking about Alfred Binet, the guy who created the IQ test, and how everybody still believes, even today, I guess, that the IQ test is meant to kind of determine someone's like fixed intelligence, kind of their unchanging intelligence, the stuff that they can necessarily can't grow and learn with. But even Binet says, as Dweck has a quote in the book from him that he said, it says, "A few modern philosophers assert that an individual's intelligence is a fixed quantity, a quantity which cannot be increased. We must protest and react against this brutal pessimism. With practice, training, and above all method, we manage to increase our attention, our memory, our judgment, and literally to become more intelligent than we were before." I guess that quote just shows that even if you may have this fixed intelligence initially, even when you take this IQ test, but what it is supposed to like show you where you're weakest, and show you places where you to improve. Everyone has the opportunity to grow, learn, and just learn what their weaknesses are and learn how to either fix that or become stronger in the areas that they're weaker. That's kind of the whole point of the growth mindset, is to constantly work towards improving and work towards bettering yourself in a way that not a lot of people always look to do. A lot of people are stuck in the fixed mindset, which states that you're either good at something or you're not, and you don't have that ability to change that. The first chapter also has a lot of like interesting examples about children growing up and the way that they learn. So it's like even at a young age, kids have this growth mindset or fixed mindset. Like when she used an example of doing puzzles, and how some kids they complete one puzzle and then they're either offered to redo the same puzzle or do a brand new, more difficult puzzle. And kids that already kind of have that fixed mindset will pick the same puzzle because it's more comfortable to them, and they won't have to stress themselves as much. While people with the growth mindset will take the new puzzle, and they want to learn. So then, taking a look at our reflection, so it asks is it harder to overcome a fixed mindset, to establish and maintain a growth mindset? I think it's tougher to establish and maintain a growth mindset, because it's easier for us to fall into our comfort zone and do things that won't stretch us, like she says later on, stretch us as much and cause us discomfort. You can always like say that you want to learn, you want to improve something, but you have to have the mentality that you want to maintain that. You want to continue to learn, continue to get better, instead of just kind of sitting back and saying, all right, I've learned this, I've learned it as good as I can, and I'm not going to be able to get any better at it. So why should I keep improving? That's tough, I get, for a lot of people to maintain it, and especially even just establish it to begin with. It's just the comfort level is what everybody focuses on, I think, and being able to step outside your normal boundaries, to learn and get improve is tough to do. So moving into chapter 2, Dweck does a lot more developing between the two different mindsets and talking about specific examples and people that she noticed talked about a tennis player that would constantly blame other things besides himself when he lost. Blame the weather, blame the conditions, blame the court conditions, blame the balls, blame the referees, and that's the way that people with fixed mindset are. Taking a look at a quote on the bottom of page 22 on a page, at that bottom of page 22. Dweck says, "Clearly, people with the growth mindset thrive when they're stretching themselves. When do people with the fixed mindset thrive? When they're safe within their grasp. If things get too challenging, when they're not feeling smart or talented, they lose interest." It just talks about how, the fixed mindset people, once they're set in their ways, and once they find that zone that they know that I can succeed in this zone without having to change anything, without having to improve myself, that's where they're going to stay. Well, people in the growth mindset, they'll fix that, they'll fix their weaknesses, they'll work to get better, and they'll work to constantly improve themselves. So taking a look at the reflection then, in your own words, define failure. So I kind of define failure, broadly, it's kind of like unsuccessfully completing a task, but at the same time, for a lot of people, it's kind of like not reaching expectations, either for yourself, so like your own expectations of yourself, it's not like that's kind of failure if you fail to reach those. But at the same time, it's other people, it's from the outside that can also define failure for you, which makes you feel like a failure. So I guess a couple examples of that kind of stuff in my life. In high school, I tried for the basketball team my freshman year, tried to play basketball after playing in middle school for a couple years. But I knew it was going to be tough. So I kind of went in with the mindset that I wasn't probably going to succeed. And then after the first day, come back the second day, I noticed, I saw a piece of paper on the floor. My name was already crossed off. So I kind of, at that point, I knew I was done. So at that point, I feel like I kind of rolled over and gave up a little bit. So my fixed mindset just kind of said, yeah, you're not going to make it, so what's the point of trying, even these last 2 days of tryouts, to change their mind? Because at that point, I myself had already made up my mind that, yes, I wasn't making this team. So I still went to the tryouts, but I knew there was no point for me to keep trying, I guess, because I wasn't going to make the team no matter what. A little bit differently then. So then, a way that I kind of overcame the fixed mindset a little bit, or the established growth mindset while failing, is in my junior year of high school, I played baseball, and I didn't make the varsity team that year, even though the majority of the juniors and seniors made the varsity team. I was one of the couple ones that didn't, and I was supposed to play. The goal was I was supposed to play a decent amount my junior year, but early on I sprained my wrist. I had a hard time getting in the lineup throughout the rest of the season. And I kind of looked at it as this was probably my last year. It was kind of a failure for me. I wasn't expecting to potentially play in my senior year just because I was like, I'm not better than a lot of these guys. But I did go out my senior year. I worked a little harder in the off season, trained a little more, and I did make the varsity team my senior year. So that was kind of a big accomplishment. I guess it showed. So initially, I thought I had the fixed mindset, but I did try to transfer it over a little more to the growth mindset. That with effort and with a little more work than I put in the last couple of years, I could maybe make the varsity team for my last year, and that's what I did, which was an accomplishment for me. So those are the first two chapters of the book. Thank you for watching.